Jinkies, zoinks! Like, what's going on, everybody? This is Ryan A. Polk, and welcome to the wrap up. And today I'm going to review SCOOB. So, this movie is about Scooby Doo and the gang. They team up with Blue Falcon and his crew to take out Dick Dastardly, a classic Hanna-Barbera villain, and Blue Falcon, who's also a classic Hanna-Barbera hero and character. Well, they're both classic characters, but okay. So yes, this is a reboot of the Scooby Doo film series, and when I had found out it was making a animated Scooby Doo movie, I was really looking forward to seeing it because I am a fan of Scooby Doo, and it's one of my favorite cartoons. I'm a fan of the classic cartoons. That's why I got on my Scooby Doo shirt, because Scooby Doo, Where Are You is the best one. And then I also had like a pup named Scooby Doo, and What's New Scooby Doo, and Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated. So yes, so they team up with Blue Falcon to take out Dick Dasherly, and with the voice cast was great. It was good. Well, yes, I mean it was great. I mean, and the only one, really the only icon that had returned to reprise his role was Frank Welker, and he does the voice of Scooby Doo. And I was actually kind of surprised when I had heard that Hollywood did not contact Greg Griffin and Matthew Lillard, who does the voices of Daphne and Shaggy, and who have been voicing him for years. I was kind of disappointed to find out that they didn't get contacted for this movie. But I mean, you got Zac Efron, who voices Fred, Amanda Seyfried, who voices Daphne, and Will Forte, who voices Shaggy. So I'm not taking nothing away from the new voices, but yeah, I was expecting the other two regulars. And this movie, when I first saw the trailer for this, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't even too sure if I even had wanted to really see this movie, because I mean, in the beginning, when you watch the trailer in the beginning, they they had they made it seem like it was like kind of like an origin Scooby Doo movie. I mean, and even though there have been some, but this, I mean, the only for some reason I was kind of bothered by it, because it made it seem like that they were, that they had grew up like in the 90s and 2000s, when Scooby Doo, which I came out back in the day, like I think which was like in the 60s. I would have liked it if they would have like took them back to that time period, growing up, because probably goes only because I like the classic Scooby Doo, and I like the classic Scooby Doo cartoon, Scooby Doo, Where Are You? And I was also for some reason I was hoping that they wouldn't use CGI, but since CGI is so popular in today's age, I'm not surprised that they did use it. Which again, I kept on thinking like, okay, hopefully they would use not CGI animation for this. They would just use like the basic stuff, but they didn't. And this movie, it did kind of catch me by surprise. I mean, the storyline, it was a good storyline to the movie, and I'm not gonna say that like that Scoob was a bad movie. It's not on the bad list of movies for 2020. It's more so on the side of the good movies for 2020. But if you're a fan of Scooby Doo, I do think that like you will enjoy it. But then at the same time, it also, some of it may, you also probably might not get that it probably won't be there, because that's how I felt when I was watching it. Like, okay, it's because some of it did make me laugh a little bit, but it wasn't just quite there. I mean, when it comes to doing these reboots, because I have mentioned in some of my reviews that I hate reboots, and most reboots don't be doing too good, and this one, I don't know what they're trying to do with it, but I don't know if they're trying to appeal to to the younger generation, because because a lot of kids watch a lot of classic cartoons. I mean, I was born in the 90s, and you got Scooby Doo Where Are You that came out in the 60s, and I enjoyed that cartoon, and I enjoyed a lot of classic cartoons like Tom and Jerry, the Flintstones, the Jetsons. So I mean, I don't know if that's the goal when it comes to doing those reboots, but I mean, was a Scooby Doo reboot necessary? After watching this, I'll probably have to say, probably not. I mean, because if I would have went to the movies to go see this, because this movie, it got released on video on demand, was supposed to get released in the theaters, but didn't because of the COVID-19 pandemic. If I would have saw this in the movies, then I'm not sure if I probably would have wanted my money back or not, because I mean this movie was something that I do think that like it just didn't really. I mean, I'm not. Well, it did appeal. I mean, like, I do think it will appeal to fans, to Scooby-Doo fans. Which is why I said if you are a fan of it, then I do think you will enjoy it. I mean, you definitely won't get bored with it. I was not bored with it at all. But then at the same time, I was just like, okay. I mean, it's good, but it's not. It can't outbeat the classic. So, Scoob is currently $19.99 on demand right now, and then while I was watching, I kept on thinking like, oh, okay, is this even worth $20? It's only worth $20 to watch. But Scoob is, if they was to make a sequel of this movie, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything because that's not what I do. But if they was to make a sequel to this, I don't know, I may go see it. I mean, I wouldn't be in no big rush to go see it, but I mean, I probably would go check it out because there are some little emotional stuff in the movie, and there's even some like corny jokes in the movie too as well, and it may be corny to. I mean, if you think corny jokes are funny, or if you think if you think corny jokes are funny, then you may get more laughs than me, but that's what Scoob brings to audience, and Scoob is something that I also think that if I don't know, like maybe the storyline could. Well, I'm gonna say maybe the storyline could be a little bit better because the storyline was pretty good and pretty interesting. But for Scoob, I give Scoob a C-, and out of 5 stars, I give Scoob 2.5 out of 5 stars. Also, was this movie worth $20 to watch on demand? I would say wait till the price goes down, or wait till this thing goes to Redbox, because it is not something I don't think you should be in a rush to go see. But if you like this video, hit like, and also feel free to comment on what you thought about of the review, or if you've seen the movie, feel free to comment on what you thought about of the movie. And if you'd like to see more reviews later on down the road, hit subscribe. And until then, this is Ryan A. Polk with the wrap up, signing off.